Well, thank you very, very kindly for staying tuned into Pan-African Television. If you just joined us, you're watching the newspaper review segment here on your #1 station. Now, I'm sure you know the newspaper review segment essentially gives us the opportunity to delve deeper into the issues that are making the waves on social media, on traditional media, on all tabloids, issues that are specific to nations and issues that are specific to sectors. And this morning, like I opined before we went for the break, I was talking to you about, sharing with you the topics that we've selected for our conversation today. And I want you to take a keen interest in it because of the significant lessons that we can draw from particularly the issue that is happening in Nigeria, which is the Islamist militant killing 18 in northeastern Nigeria. We would have to juxtapose same with what is rearing its head in the Volta region, whether it is politically motivated, whether it is legally motivated, whether it is morally motivated or socially motivated. We are enjoined to have an open conversation on that subject matter as well, particularly when people who started out like these fundamental secessionist groups have transmogrified to become terrorists that are terrorizing some part of Nigeria, for instance, and in Mali and a few other places. So it is not a joking issue at all, particularly when they are able to act swiftly on the blind side of national security. It leaves a bigger room for concern. It leaves a bigger room for our fears, to be well placed. And so we're going to be touching on that particular issue here on the morning show as well. House of Chiefs obviously have condemned the secessionist attacks and they are rallying support for government. Also, the EC chair is under fire as Adam G.H. Imani Ghana throw punches over anomalies in the voter register. And Ghana's total debt has risen again. The debt stock is rising by the day, is rising by the weeks, is rising by the months. And it's very scary. It's very scary. We have been defined, by the World Bank and the IMF as a debt. We're getting there to a debt-distressed country, and I think that if we don't begin to pull the brakes, we will get to a point where we will no longer be able to assess those facilities in order to expand the development that we have so begun in this nation. I've been joined in the studios by Delali Sewakpo, who is gradually becoming a regular on the morning show. He is a communicator with the NDC and I think the campaign PRO for the candidate of the NDC in the Kaswa Enclave. I don't know, I forgot the constituency again, but the Kaswa Enclave.
That's the
Wutusenya East constituency. Delali, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
You lost your dad. And I was jokingly saying you killed your dad. Somebody told me that when my dad died, and I nearly strangled the guy. Yeah. Is that the same feeling for me? You want to strangle me?
No, not at all.
Yeah, but I'm told you lost your dad to the icy hands of death.
Yeah, that was actually on the 13th of May.
Yes, May. Yeah.
So basically, I went to the voter region towards the preparation, which is coming on. The funeral is coming on this Saturday. In
this very Saturday.
Yeah, in Kleko. That is the Ketu South constituency. So that is what I
will go because the secessionists are there.
I was actually caught up in that.
In that unfortunate way.
Yeah, that was on Friday. At dawn.
So then you will be able to give us a bigger account as to what transpired. So let me just leave it there. Yeah. But accept our heartfelt condolences, please.
Thanks,
and we shall try and pass through and support you.
Thank you.
Also, we have here in the studios Sylvester Sapon, soprano, who's here seated representing the flag of the CPP. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
By the grace.
I trust you're doing well.
By His grace.
I'm told that Akufo-Addo is taking very good care of you. So
President Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
Well, the closest I've.
What is it? I've been treated nicely.
No, I'm amazed. I wish I was within his, You
don't need to be within his inner circles to enjoy. I'm saying that the man is extending his shoulder of benevolence to you.
Well, I think he's having a big laugh right now because I know he watches the show and he's never met. I've never gotten close. You know.
But you've gotten close to somebody that is close to him.
No. If I could be within his, his aura, if he could reach me, I would be. He's sitting pretty.
Anyway, we don't know. I don't know as yet who is representing the MPP, but if I'm to guess, then it should be Mujib. I don't know, but maybe it's Mujib who is representing the MPP. But the MPP rep is not here yet. I don't know why. Hopefully, the MPP rep will join us so that we can get to listen to the MPP as well, so that we can have a balanced conversation on the morning show.
Just by the way, Kwame, somebody told me over the weekend that they are looking for somebody to clean, at the Flagstaff house. So if you have some connections and you can get me the job to clean the Flagstaff house.
So speak to the person who told you that.
Then to clean. Then maybe I can get close to the president, cleaning his office and stuff.
Anyway, so that's just by the way. Let me first of all kickstart the conversation from the perspective of the Islamic militants who have killed about 18 in northeastern Nigeria. And like I said, we are not going to discuss this issue in isolation. We'll try and marry this one with what is transpiring in Ghana at the moment, the secessionist groups that are in Ghana that are seeking to break away from the Republic of Ghana, and the attendant ramifications of their actions, and whether or not there is some unseen hands that are manipulating and tuning the antennas to their own advantage. Let me kickstart the conversation with Delali Sewakpo, who is a communicator with the NDC and also the campaign PR for, what's your candidate's name again? Nakoyo. Owusu Senya East constituency, the Kaswa enclave. Yeah, Nakoyo. Yeah, she's contesting. No, not the doctor. Hawa Kumsin Schwarzenegger.
The gunshot woman.
Hawa Schwarzenegger.
The woman with the gun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hawa
The lady with the
Schwarzenegger.
gun. Yeah. Her name is
Hawa
Schwarzenegger.
When it comes to
Kumsnega.
when it comes to Kasa, they call her Rambua.
Rambua. Oh, okay. Hawa Kumsin. Hawa Kumsnega.
Yes, Kumsnega.
Kumsnega. Okay. Kumsnega. Okay.
Anyway, so let me kickstart the conversation with you, sir.
Yeah, Kwame,
Yeah.
Good morning to your cherished viewers, and a special greeting to the incoming president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and to my own candidate, Felix Nakoyo Kuno. Hopefully, God willing, a year by this time, he will be addressed as the Member of Parliament for the Owusu Senya East constituency. With respect to the Islamic militant killing, 18 people in northeastern part of Nigeria, you see, I have always maintained that we have to come to a point and appreciate the fact that whatever that happens in other jurisdiction automatically affects us as a country, or even whatever happens even globally affects us as a continent. And if you want a classical example, COVID have actually taught us a lot of lessons. That's way back in December last year when we heard about this outbreak of COVID far away in China. And you have Ghanaians living in Ghana who thought that this COVID, pandemic is far away from Ghana or even from Africa. Before we say Jack, Africa basically were hit with this COVID cases as well. And it's only God that has saved us, and probably has to do with the nature of our weather and how we are used to the way of life and a whole lot of things. So whatever that happens in Nigeria, aside the fact that it has a ripple effect on Ghana, aside the fact that it has the tendency to destabilize the African continent and even affect our way of doing things, it also has the tendency to destabilize us economically. Because this is a country that is being described as the biggest economy within the West African sub-region and even the entire Africa. So whatever that happens in Nigeria obviously has the tendency to have a trickle-down effect as far as Ghana as a country is concerned. And I have always maintained that within the sub-region, there's a lot of things that ECOWAS must be up and doing. Because you have an instances where this whole thing, whenever we hear about the militant group or these people who have, waged certain relentless, wars against their own country, we normally hear it in the Arab sub-region, in some parts of the Middle East and what have you not. And gradually, this whole thing is getting closer to us as a country. It has gotten to Nigeria. We had the issue about Boko Haram. That's, will enter into a church, kill a lot of people. As to what actually led to that, there are a lot of theories that has been propounded. That these are people who want an Islamic state in Nigeria, who are fighting for, what do you call it, secession of what do you call Nigeria, the northern part of Nigeria from the southern part of Nigeria. We have heard a lot of theories, and so I think this is quite instructive, and it's more instructive because it's coming at the backdrop of what happened this Friday. I happened to be going to the Volta region. I left Accra somewhere around 3 o'clock a.m. And when I got to a town called Kutama, before I got there, I tuned into Joy FM, and it was a breaking news that, there's people who are seeking for a secessionist from the Volta region, the Homeland Study Group. Have actually blocked the road. And it has taken place. I'm going to the Volta region, somewhere around Sugakopa. And the same thing, it was simultaneous. It was well-rehearsed, coordinated activity. And the same thing was basically going on in somewhere, Japan. So when this whole commentary was going on, a lot of people were interviewed on Joy FM. I got to Kutame somewhere around 4:30 a.m. And the number of cars that has been blocked, the number of people that have become so stranded, and I keep on asking myself. So when I even got there, I asked some of the people who were there, when did this whole thing start? They say it started around somewhere 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So the question I asked myself, the question I asked myself is, what happens to our intelligence gathering? What happened to our security? But you see, the moment I listened to the Volta Regional Minister on Joy FM, then it occurred to me that this cannot be something that was done in the blind side of what we call the state security. Because having listened to the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Lisa, granting an interview on Joy FM, and admitted that, listen, we have a fair idea that this thing was going to happen. That's what he said on Joy FM. I tuned into Joy FM and I listened to the Volta Regional Minister, who happened to be the chairman of the Volta Regional Security Council. Said they had a proud knowledge about what is going on. And even the journalist posed a question that, does he appreciate the gravity of what is going on? See, if you listen to his tone, the manner he spoke, he basically trivialized the whole thing. It gives me an impression that no wonder there's a lot of news items I've read on social media and news portals. To me, it's sought to give credence to what I'm actually assuming, that maybe the Volta Regional Minister probably have a fair knowledge with respect to those who orchestrated this well-coordinated Gansalism blocking road in the Volta region. And sometimes people, when I get to the Volta region, some of the questions people were beginning to ask, is it because this government probably think that the Volta region does not really portend well for them when it comes to electoral fortune, and for that matter, they are allowing these people to perpetrate this unholy crime on the good people of the Volta region? Because one, I have seen that, listen, the state is complicit in this. And for me, I keep on saying, nobody can convince me, the lady sitting down here, that the state machinery is not complicit in this. First of all, this thing happened last year. It started happening last year, probably more than, I think, about 2 years ago or something. Kwame, the people that were arrested, what has happened to them? Some people were also arrested who were found in the forest somewhere in the Ketu North constituency. What has happened to these people? So you have an instances where we have not taken measures to serve as a punitive, a punishment enough to deter other people from engaging in this same activity. So the people have been emboldened. Because what they are doing is not treasonable. Kwame, is it not treasonable?
It is.
So if people are perpetrating a crime that amount to treason, and yet they are being arrested and they are being left off the hook, the next time they do worse than what they did previously. And you have a Volta Regional Minister coming to tell us that they have a full knowledge about it, they have a proud knowledge about it, and no security measures was put in place. To the extent that Voltarians who were heading to the Volta region, people who were not even Voltarians heading to the Volta region, were caught stranded for more than 4 hours. And it was around 10 o'clock a.m. or even 8 o'clock a.m. that the security were deployed to, and you know one thing, even before the security were deployed, these people had, this secessionists or these hoodlums or this group of people had a full knowledge about it. And they quickly have to disappear. So the point is, was somebody really coordinating them? Is somebody in the knowing of what is going on? Is somebody sponsoring them? Is somebody just using this as a basis of, on the day of election, create this same, what we call it, outlook, and say, listen, the voter region is not safe for that matter, let's deploy the security or let's deploy the military? Is it because there's suspicion out there? When you go to the voter region, you speak to the ordinary people in the voter region, like I did when I went to the voter region on Friday. When you speak to them, they are blaming the central government of being complicit with respect to what is happening in the voter region. Even to the extent that speak to the ordinary people, speak to the young people, speak to the elderly people in the voter region, like I did when I went to the voter region on Friday. What they are basically saying is, listen, this is more or less an extension of the plan that we witnessed in what we call during the what we call registration exercise. They say, listen, the government just want to establish a basis of deploying the military to the voter region on the day of election. And you see, in as much as you might not have an evidence to support their claim, per the actions and inactions of the government, the security agencies, and what have you not, give credence to what is being speculated in the voter region. Because I've read a statement coming from the Awomefia, and he has made it categorically clear that the chiefs in the voter region do not sanction the activities of this group of people. And he's calling on the government, calling on the security agency to go after this group of people who blocked the voter region on Friday. That is what the Awomefia have said. The chief of the Anglo State, the paramount chief of the Anglo State, that is the statement that he has issued. That the chief of the voter region do not subscribe to any group of people who want to, who wants an independence of the voter region from what we call it, Ghana as a country. So we want to listen, we want to hear what the security is going to do. This time around, you see, we are tired of the rhetoric. We are tired of calling certain security experts, granting a series of interviews. See, we are even tired of all this historical antecedent. We want to see the security acting. We want to see the security making sure that those people who engage in this activity are brought to book. We don't want an instances, 31 people have been arrested, detained at the BNI, detained at the National Security Outfit, and the next day it has become a foolish case.
People are overly worried, also because the president has been silent on this subject matter. One would have thought that issues bordering on national security, an issue of this magnitude would have caught the attention of the president of the land. But somehow, the president has been dead silent on this subject matter. Does that also confirm the idea that you are putting across, that perhaps it appears government has some role, some unseen role to play in this particular issue?
I have no doubt to believe that. You see, Kwame, imagine Friday was an election day, and for almost about 5-6 hours, the road leading to certain parts of the voter region were blocked. Which of the two major political parties would be affected on the day of election? Imagine we have the same thing playing out on the day of election, or even on the eve of election. And people who are going to the voter region, or people who are supposed to move from one community to constituency to polling stations and what have you, to go and cast their vote. Which of the two major political parties, based on the historical, what they call trend of our election or election party, which of the two major political parties stand to suffer from what happened in the voter region on Friday? So are we not surprised that the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, under whose presidency that this thing is happening, has not made one single comment with respect to what is happening in the voter region? Because I was even expecting that the president by now should be calling what we call emergency meeting at the Flagstaff House. Even cutting short his talk. Because this thing is a threat to the very foundation of our country. The president by now should be calling for an emergency meeting, calling his security chiefs, calling his national security minister, calling the interior minister, what have you not, calling his national security advisors. If even when the president is even have to demonstrate that level of commitment, ask them certain pertinent questions. Certain people must be fired, because this is not the first time it's happening. I listen to the information minister and all the answers he is giving. To me, it's not tenable. And that is why I'm saying that there's a high level of suspicion among the people of the voter region who I have spoken to when I went to the voter region. And the only message, or the only conclusion that they have at the back of their mind is, listen, this is politically orchestrated. And this is not according to me. This is a widely what they call a perception as I speak in the Volta region. And what they are just saying is this. The president probably think that, listen, if there's a destabilization in the Volta region, if there's a mayhem in the Volta region, if there's a security deployment in the Volta region on the day of election or on the eve of election, the major political party who are affected is the National Democratic Congress. Do you think if this thing is happening in the stronghold of the MP, you think the president would have been quiet about it? You think President Nana Danso Akufo-Addo, if what we are witnessing today is happening in any part of what they call the region, which happens to be the stronghold of the MPP, you think President Nana Danso Akufo-Addo will be quiet? Would he be rushing to organize what we call an emergency meeting? Would he not be even issuing a statement from the presidency and calling on the security to deal with those who were perpetrating that particular act? But I'm saying that having listened to the poster, the tone, the demeanor, and the what they call responses of the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Alicia, I have no any inhibition whatsoever to conclude that the minister himself is complicit or have a full knowledge with respect to what happened. And I am saying that the people of the Volta region are wide awake, they are aware about what is going on, they are conscious about what is going on, and they are not oblivious about the penchant and the determination of this particular regime to create certain mayhem, to create certain confusion in the Volta region, which they rehearsed it during the registration exercise. And I'm saying that the President of the Republic of Ghana, we want the President to speak. For now, we are not even interested in the minister speaking, National Security Minister, Interior Minister, Defense Minister. We are not interested in it because the point is, this group of people have always contradicted themselves. Go and pick statement from the Minister of Information, the Interior, the National Security, when it happened in the past. And just couple that with what they are saying now. So we want to hear from the man that the backstop with. We want to hear from the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Because this is a crisis. This is a serious matter.
Do you know the gravamen of what you're saying? What you're saying is that you suspect that government is directly involved in this, albeit that you do not have any evidence to support it.
Okay, what I'm saying is the suspicion I'm talking about is an opinion. You know, I went to the Volta region on Friday.
So these are
exactly
people expressing.
See, it becomes a topical issue.
Okay,
in the Volta region,
so people are expressing themselves in relation to what they believe.
Exactly.
Are the underlying causes of what occasion?
Exactly. See,
over the weekend. So that's a fact. And you said that people are mentioning that government, but do we know that what we are saying portends some danger that may befall us in the event that care is not taken? Because even if people don't have ideas, what we are doing is that we are giving them ideas. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Sure. That originally, if the secessionists, if this, and you see, and this morning I was listening, when I was coming to the office, I was listening to Joy FM. And there's this presenter with one of the radio stations in the Volta region who was, highlighting the mood of the people, right? Or the moods of the people, if you will. And then he intimated that the people are suggesting that the persons who did what they did over the weekend are not part of the secessionist groups, group in like in the Volta region. Sure. And if that is anything to go by, what it means is that if this was indeed orchestrated by government, then we are even giving the people ideas as to how to operate and what to do and things like that. To the extent that they are able to go to a police station, beat the police people up, seize their rifles. Now, they've been able to retrieve a few of them, but the 10 AK-47 rifles are still not known. So what are we seeking to do? Are we seeking to deliberately create the impression that this was a secessionist attack, right? So that we will use that to resource the invisible forces to foment trouble in the Volta region. And we say that these people perhaps are using the 10 AK-47 rifles that we could not retrieve. Are you getting the logic here? Is that a possibility also?
Kwame,
but do you foresee that happening?
I get it, Kwame. You see, for me, always one thing I always say is this: whenever a crime is committed, I look at the culprit and the psychological disposition of the one who committed that act. So, like you said, somebody could muster the courage, storm a police station, take the police officers hostage, seize their guns. And Kwame, you want to tell me that this person is not having certain backing from the certain powers that be? Master that courage, because even the act itself is treasonable act. To the extent that you master courage,
you want to overthrow the state.
Go to the police station, take police officers hostage, seize their guns, and you have the audacity to still be speaking, granting interview, and yet nothing is being said about this. And you want to tell me that there's no intelligence prior to that? You want to tell me that nobody had a full knowledge about what happened in the Volta region, orchestrated, well coordinated? And that's why I'm saying that the people of the Volta region, you might sit in Accra, do your own grant interview, do your own analysis and what have you, but the people of the Volta region have a different perception, have a different mindset with respect to what happened. So what I'm just simply saying is this. See, it's not enough if President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo through his ministers assures that nothing is going to happen. We have gotten that assurance several times. When it happened for the first time, they told us that, listen, they are going to deal with those who are behind this thing. And I'm saying a group of people were arrested. What has happened to them? Last year, we had instances where people even mounted what we call it, the Western Togoland, what we call flag. Somewhere when you're heading towards the Volta region. In this south, it's an act that is treasonable. What has happened to them? And now, you see, they are gradually moving from a less sophisticated, what we call it, strategy to more sophisticated one. Because in the past, there had never been an instance that they have stormed police station, took police officers hostage, and see their AK-47. But this time around, they've stormed into a police station, take police officers hostage, and they have seized their AK-47. So, next one, do you know what they intend to do?
I want us to address our minds to something. And I think I'm trying to bring your mind to something, all right?
Yeah.
So let's follow the trajectory of the argument. What you are saying is that well, in fact, some people in the Volta region are of the firm belief that this particular act that occasioned over the weekend is not an act flowing from the persons who have decided to succeed from Ghana. These are some of the arguments being espoused by some people in the Volta region. So let's put that argument into perspective. Now, if the people who did what they did over the weekend are not part of the Homeland Study Group, that means that they must belong to something.
Yeah.
Now, there has been consistent, conversations about the possibility of lowering the votes in the Volta region.
Exactly.
And people can describe me as being, a sinister or what have you. But, I mean, we have to also look at the other side of the conversation. Could it be that this was, and also, flowing from the streams of arguments espoused by certain persons, also to the effect that they believe that there's an unseen hand of the state in respect of this particular, orchestration, all right, of an attempt to block the roads and things like that. Or in fact, not an attempt, orchestration to block the roads and things like that, right? So let's put all these issues into perspective. We are putting the issues into perspective. Then what comes to mind is it, okay, that this is an attempt to further entrench government's posture in respect of reducing votes in the Volta region? That is one. Two, creating an atmosphere of instability in the Volta region so that on election day, people will be uncomfortable to come and vote. Three, that we want to create an atmosphere of instability so that we'll be able to deploy the military to that region in order that we will prevent people from freely coming out to express themselves through the ballot. Four, that there's also the possibility that the people who were involved in this perhaps may be part of the, forces that have been operating in this country for some time, but for whatever reason now they've been disbanded, right?
Disbanded?
Well, I'm saying that they've been disbanded as far as I can tell.
That is on.
You're making me lose my chain of thought. That they've been disbanded, right? To engage themselves in this act, seize the AK-47s, because right now we don't know where the AK-47 rifles are. Use it on election day, come and cause mayhem, and then that will prevent people from voting. Are you looking at all the possible scenarios that I'm creating? So let's deal with that.
So you see, Kwame, that's what I intimated earlier on, that is the perception out there. One interesting thing is when I got there around 4:30 a.m., you see, one thing that became so revealing was the fact that even the Votarians who were there, that even when they tried to speak even a word to those who have blocked the vote, they couldn't even express themselves.
I also had that argument.
And I wasn't there. I'm not speaking based on what I witnessed. I'm speaking based on what I was told. that when they try to even, talk to these people who have blocked the vote, they couldn't even express themselves in the voter and in the Ewe language. And so, like I'm saying, like this whole thing, it's belief within certain circle, and I have no any inhibition to doubt those who believe or who have that school of thought that it's a well orchestrated plan, systemic plan adopted by the government to ensure that once we decided to suppress votes in the voter rate during the what they call registration exercise, and technically what they've sat down, they've realized that they failed in that particular regard. Now, the next thing they want to do is, how do we come up with a strategy to ensure that on the day of election, if we cannot physically prevent people from going out there to go and vote, then why don't you create an atmosphere of chaos, an atmosphere of anarchy, to the extent that people will not feel comfortable to come out there to come and vote. That's why I give you a classical example that for almost about 4 hours or so, or 5 hours. So eventually the road block was lifted somewhere around 8 o'clock. So imagine on the day of election, and such things is going on in the voter region. A lot of people will not feel comfortable to come and vote. And eventually, which political party among the two major political parties, who obviously will emerge as the winner, stand the risk of losing votes? It's obviously the National Democratic Congress. That's why I gave you an instance that imagine this thing is happening in the Ashanti region or probably in the Eastern region. Well, President Anada would you have kept quiet and say he's not going to make any statement about it? And now there come again, the AK-47 that they've seized. Now the question as we're asking ourselves is this. Is it also a case that they will come and say, listen, we've tried as much as possible to arrest those who are in possession of the AK-47, but we are unable to arrest them, and on the day of election, these same people sprang up and create more chaos in the voter region and say, listen, these are the group of people who stormed the voter region, on the 25th of July, on the 25th of September 2020, and these are the same people who have come out, and they are people who say, listen, these are votarians. They are not part of Ghana. It will not allow them to express their their rights as Ghanaians. Simply and will ensure that they will not partake in the electoral process of Ghana because they are not Ghanaians. And for that matter, it will affect the electoral fortunes of the NDC. So what is more important is the fact that, that's what I'm saying, that listen, you might be here in Accra, sophisticated in your thinking that listen, you are more intelligent than the ordinary folks in the voter region. These are the views that were expressed by the people of the voter region. That we don't see this to be coming from this homeland, what we call study group. This is not how even they behave. Even when these people that were witness, I've heard what they call their PR, disassociating the group from this group of people. And Kwame, look at something. Very instructive. Kwame, look at something. Have you realized? Tablet. This is the first time the voter chiefs, I don't know, I stand to be corrected. This is the first time Awomefia is issuing a statement. Have you noticed that? This is the first time, obviously, the Awomefia is issuing a statement, a strong-worded statement, calling on the security to deal with this whole land. Why do you think in previous one there were no statement? Because they pick intelligence. They also have a group of people who feed them about what is happening in the voter region. I believe by now the chiefs in the voter region have been fed with information that even the people that block the road cannot even express themselves in the voter region. So if you cannot express yourself in the native language of the people of the voter region, what locus do you have to tell the people of the voter region that we want to, what we call it, secede ourselves from Ghana? So what we are simply saying, from what I've seen about this particular regime, and they're crying out there, and the way a lot of people are calling for change, and the way the president and his security, having conducted a series of research, and having come to appreciate the fact that absolutely nothing can change the change that is coming 7 December 2020. They will do everything possible means to rig the, what do you call it, the 2020 election. And rigging an election is not something that happened on the day of election. It's a series of events that is being put together to frustrate. See, do you know frustration of, what do you call it, illegible voters is part of rigging an election? Do you know creating an artificial insecurity in a region that is supposed to be a stronghold of your opponent is a means of rigging an election? Do you know if all of a sudden you create what do you call it, a state of insecurity in a constituency or in a region that is perceived to be the stronghold of your political opponent? Do you know it's a form of rigging an election? So for me, what I'm just simply saying is this. The NPP have never shied away. They have never stopped putting every single strategy to ensure that come 7 December, either they marginalize the people who are coming from the stronghold of the NDC, or they find a ways and means to disenfranchise the people who are coming from the stronghold of the NDC. But for me, I think, from what I witnessed in the Volta region, I base all this thing that's happened on Friday. I see that the people of the Volta region are resolute, they are firm, and they are so committed that come what may, rain or shine, they will ensure that this incompetent, this nepotistic, clueless, corrupt regime will be kicked out of power. Okay. No amount of machination, no amount of backroom operation or machination will be able to stop the NDC from taking the mantle of this come 7 January 2021.
Thank you very, very much, Delali Sewakbo, on this subject matter that we've started to talk. But I just need some clarity from the people of the Western region. Are you able to watch Pan-African television this morning from the Western region? If not, let us know. I don't know. Even if they are not able to, that would I be able to communicate? So if you are watching on Facebook, find out from your colleagues in the Western region if they are able to view Pan-African TV this morning. Because I'm learning that Pan-African television is not being viewed. Like the network is messing up a little bit in the Western region. So confirm that for me, so that I'll be able to. So that if we can rectify it for you. Let me now go to Soprano on this same subject matter. Soprano. Yeah. But before then, hold on. Let me go for this quick commercial break. When I return, we'll be listening to Soprano's submission on this subject matter. Stay with us. What's that, man?
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Breakfast good day, every day. Every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the news review segment on Pan-African television, and it's very, very hot in here, even though the air condition is on, because of the sensitive issues that we have we are raising, we're discussing this morning. Let me remind you that, look, listen, if you need the best barbering shop to look clean and fresh, I'm recommending Orije International Barber Shop to you. Orije International Barber Shop is at Caprice and 101 Olympic Street, Accra. It's right behind that former club. What is the name? At Caprice. I've forgotten. Whatever. But it's at Caprice, right? It's Orije International Barber Shop. Orije is spelled Orijey. So if you want to go there, you can just punch Orije International Barber Shop into your Google location, and then it will take you there. So yeah, go there and get a clean shave. When you finish, take a picture and send it to me. Yeah, say cheese and take a picture and send it to me. Let's now hear from you, my brother Soprano, on this subject matter.
Yes, Kwame, thank you so much, and good morning to all listeners. And Kwame, also just to remind you that still President Akufo-Addo.
Okay, right. So Ambassador Sampiale, I don't know where you got your intel from, but the message that I'm getting suggests that we are being watched from the Western region. So thank you. Please proceed.
Appreciate it. I just wanted to briefly remind you that, you were asking. I just wanted to remind you that His Excellency, the President, he has still not paid for the money that he seized from, grandmothers, single mothers, vulnerable Ghanaians, that the President has taken their money. And I know one of them, Kwame, the way they are suffering, hospital bills, medicine, they can't go to hospital, you see, and it is very, very painful when you consider that members of President Akufo-Addo's cabinet, who together with President Akufo-Addo made this decision, calculated, deliberate decision to impose such hardship and cruel and unusual punishment on Ghanaian investors, especially vulnerable grandmothers and single mothers who are hustling to take care of their families. You see, and they are the breadwinners. And then His Excellency, our dear beloved President, he came and together with his cabinet, they all sat down, the cabinet and President Akufo-Addo, and they came out with this strategy to come and take Ghanaians' money by force, you see, and impose a certain cruel and unusual punishment upon these innocent grandmothers and single mothers, vulnerable Ghanaians. Meanwhile, the people who are supposed to have caused all of this financial collapse, I'm talking about Ghanaians like Pastor Mensa Otabil and Papa Kwesi Indum, they are walking around the Republic of Ghana doing greater works. So we are very, very hurt by the President's continued inability to release people's hard-earned money for them. Dr. Kwame Owusu, the eminent NPP economist, has been talking about this sad situation. So we are still watching the President. It is a very sad situation. Meanwhile, the people who are supposed and alleged to have caused all of this crisis, they are walking around Ghana doing greater works. You see, Papa Kwesi Ndum, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum, he drives in a convoy of Cadillac Escalades. I saw him the other day, I was amazed. In the meantime, vulnerable grandmothers and single mothers who are the original indigenous investors, you understand, they are not getting their money. And the President and the MPP, the New Patriotic Party, they passed a law that gave $24 million to somebody to build a hotel. Can you imagine, my fellow Ghanaians? Okay, still, we love President Akufo-Addo, although he has taken our grandmother's money and the money of vulnerable single mothers. You see, but Kwame, substantively, on the issue of the Islamist militants, killing 18 in northeastern Nigeria, it is a very sad situation. Kwame, the Boko Haram has been around for about approaching, 15 to 20 years now. And in that period, they have, contributed or facilitated or actually murdered, killed over 30,000 Nigerians. Okay? They have, kidnapped several school girls, raped them, forced them into marriages.
Chibok girls?
The Chibok girls. And then they have displaced over 3 million people in Nigeria. Okay? And I talk about Boko Haram because of this impact, as in the deaths and the displacement and the general hardship and misery that they've brought upon the Nigerian people, the good people of Nigeria. And then I also want to talk briefly about, flowing from this Islamic militant attacks in northeastern Nigeria. Just also wanted to remind Ghanaians about the Biafra war in Nigeria and the massive dislocation that it brought upon the Nigerian way of life and the Nigerian country, the entire republic, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay, so when I hear about Ghana, linking it to Ghana, when we hear about some people saying that they want to secede from their country and then wanting to do so by force, we are, to begin with, very saddened. And then, secondly, we are alarmed. You understand? Just briefly, Kwame, this area, the so-called Volta Tokoland, that these so-called secessionists, violent secessionists, want to claim as a new republic. Kwame, we all know the antecedents to this case. We know how come Ghana the Transvolta Tokeland became part of the new Republic of Ghana. And I want to remind Ghanaians that take note that, you see, Ghana, as with the Gold Coast, was really just from Axim to Keta, up north, covering the Anlo areas, Chebi thereabouts. We had the Transvolta Togoland. We had the Northern Territories. We had Ashanti. You see, and it was the genuines of President Kwame Nkrumah who managed to convince the other parts of what is today Ghana, okay, to join up so that we could be an independent republic. Okay, now, having said that, we also want to point out that it is President Kwame Nkrumah's extraordinary abilities, along with the Convention People's Party, okay, but under the leadership of President Kwame Nkrumah, that Ghana, today has as a part of its, self, the Transvolta Togoland. That portion of land was acquired to be a part of the Republic of Ghana without a single shot being fired. You understand? That is a very important point. Ghanaians should understand that it wasn't just by chance. It was the genuines of the CPP government under the leadership of His Excellency President Nkrumah that led to that chunk of land, formerly the Transvolta Togoland, becoming a part of the Republic of Ghana. So in an era where people were fighting bloody wars to acquire land, President Kwame Nkrumah and the glorious CPP, using our intelligence, you understand, we just managed to convince the people of the Transvolta Togoland to be a part of the whole of Ghana, so that together we would make strides and go forward, and continue to shine forth as the Black Star of Africa. You see, but Kwame, there is this talk in certain quarters that the sitting government, might somehow, there's this speculative analysis in some quarters that the sitting government might somehow be involved in creating this condition, ostensibly to cause a certain instability in the Volta region, which happens to be the stronghold of the biggest opposition party, so that turnout will be suppressed. And Kwame, I think it is a fantastic conspiracy theory, to tell the truth. I do not for a minute believe that any responsible government would, take such a massive, dangerous risk, and undertake such an activity. I really do not believe so. Of course, I believe that the presidency of, lawyer Ivor Greenstreet, the flag bearer of the glorious CPP, can transform this country quicker and in a manner much more superior than this fumbling and tumbling Nana Akufo-Addo government. I really believe that. But I do not believe that Nana Akufo-Addo would want to cause this, such a dislocation to the body politic of this country, to the very, core of this country. Remember, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo is the one that is always talking about the Ghana project. And Kwame, you know that I've always been reminding Ghanaians that President Akufo-Addo is uniquely positioned to appreciate the Ghana project than most. Probably that's why he won the last election, because most Ghanaians felt that, with his pedigree and his provenance, being from the line of Nanase Ofori-Atta I, Nanase Ofori-Atta II, Dr. J.B. Dankwa, President Edward Akufo-Addo, that President Mbuzia, but specifically the Chebi line, there is no doubt that the people of Chebi are Ghanaian patriots. I have no doubt whatsoever, because it is evident from the days of the Aborigines Right Protection, is it committee or association, that the Chebi leadership has been at the forefront of emancipating the peoples of this land. You understand? Of course, ultimately, it had to take President Kwame Nkrumah to clinch the deal, for all of us. But no one can take anything away from the like I said, the provenance and pedigree of where Nana Akufo-Addo comes from. So I find it very difficult to believe that Nana Akufo-Addo, having invested himself so much, and his family having invested so much, would intentionally sabotage the Ghana project. I think it is a dangerous speculation. Okay, and Kwame, you see, when people talk about the fact that, but otherwise, how could it be that people could go and actually take over a police station in Ghana. And I'm like, well, how could it not be? In this Republic of Ghana, we had situations where people took a gun and went to the house of the president of the republic and at gunpoint, took his presidency from him. But Jesus is my witness. President Rawlings is such an example. You understand? Along with President J.A. Kufuor, who jumped on the bandwagon when he saw that things were going nicely. You understand? So because for me, I cannot but always call out President J.A. Kufuor for poor judgment that as a member of parliament, your party and your government, the democratic dispensation is overthrown. And then you give a spurious, in my opinion, a spurious explanation that, there was a call for national unity. So I went, what is this? So at a time when the people of Ghana were looking for clear judgment, positive judgment, forward-looking judgment, President J.A. Kufuor, he dropped the ball and he jumped on the coup d'etat bandwagon. You understand? So do not be surprised that people were able to go and overtake and take over a police station. I'm saying that Ghanaians, went and overtook the presidency. You know the name for such an action. When you take a gun and you go to the president's house and you deprive him of his mandate, invested in him by the people of this country. And that's why I keep on calling out, Ghanaians, our leadership, that they ought to renounce the indemnity clause. You understand? They ought to, President J.A. Kufuor especially, he has the ability, he spent a relatively shorter period. He should renounce the indemnity clause. You understand? I'm talking about Mr. Honorable Martin Amidou, the special prosecutor, member of the coup d'etat peoples, PNDC. He should renounce the indemnity clause if he has nothing to fear. Dr. Huri Yahya, Alhaji Huri Yahya, he should do that. All of these people, please, so don't talk about people going to take over a police station. People took over President Liman and deprived him of his mandate given to him by Jesus Christ and his Father God, along with the Holy Spirit. Now, going forward, we also need to point out that the people calling for secession, in the Volta region, Kwame,
yes, sir.
I asked them, and there seems to be a certain talk. You see, and this is very important. You see, Ghanaians from the Volta region, especially of the Ever extraction, should stand up strong and tall for this republic, as the Anlo leader, the Avon Efia, has done. You understand? And indeed, as Tobe Afede has also, done. You understand? Because you see, when they talk, it's as if the Transvolta Togoland is was exclusively Ever. Then we had Dagombes in the area. We had Krachi in the area. We had Guans in the area. Yeah. And people from Akabuem and etc. Yeah. So how come that we are not hearing from those other parts of the Transvolta Togoland? You understand? And that is why I'm saying that this thing is not, something that could emanate from the Flagstaff House. I think that, in as much as we may be opposed to policies of our presidents, that the integrity of our presidents should never be dragged in the mud because they represent, they are the embodiment of the republic and they operate from President Kwame Nkrumah's seat at the Flagstaff House. You see, so I'm saying that how come that, this whole talk seems to be centered around Papavi and the people in a certain area that is, ever speaking. And that is why I'm saying that, Ghanaians from the ever speaking parts of this country need to stand up. Nobody can deny the fact that, Evers are in every, fabric, find them in every, sphere of our national development. And that Evers come to the table of Ghana with massive and several attributes. I'm telling you. You understand? They are amongst the most intelligent people. We have people like Dr. Achachuchu Kata, who eminent Ghanaians. You understand? President J.A. Rawlings. You understand? And for 19 years, J.J. Rawlings, 19 years as a leader. You understand? With people like Professor Awonu of blessed memory. Yeah. Eminent eminent academicians who made Ghana proud. You understand? There's nobody today that can tell me that he's from, the Ever part of Ghana and complain that Evers have not been blessed by this republic. You understand? Look around you. Look in your neighborhoods. Who are the rich people in the neighborhoods? Do you not find Evers amongst them? Look at the people driving some of the nicest cars in the republic. No, do you not find them there? Look at the people who are look at the names, academic giants like Dr. Akila Pastoya, etc. Kotoka, despite the fact that
he's a professor.
Professor, forgive me.
Professor Akila
Pastoya, that giant. Even Kotoka, who did that treasonable fellow. He has his name on Kwame the airport. Airport. You understand? And we've not changed it. Although we in the CPP have been saying that maybe they could put Ephraim Mahmoud's name or Victor Behu's name. You know what I'm saying? So Kwame, that is another level that people of Ever Extract in Ghana need to stand up for this republic. It is a time like this that Evers must stand up. Not, any other time. When the going is difficult like this, it's not only the leadership in the traditional sense, but Kwame, Evers like the Lali here should stand up for Ghana. You understand? Because Kwame, remember, this is not the first time that Ghanaians have experienced this threat of secession.
Right.
You understand? And I'm bad now, Kwame. I need to say this. It's so important. Remember that the reason why the New Patriotic Party and its ancestors are always talking about Kwame Nkrumah and hating on President Kwame Nkrumah is because of the Preventive Detention Act. Now, the Preventive Detention Act came about, you understand, as a result of a secessionist activity. In those days, we had the National Liberation Movement, you understand, Matimo from Kumasi, saying that they wanted to secede. You had in Accra, the Shifi Mokpe, who were saying gas for gas only. They wanted to break away from the new Ghana. You understand? In the Volta region, this is not the first time we've heard this thing about the Homeland Study Group. We had Ablade, the Ablade group in the Alavanyo area, in the Volta region. They tried to break away back in the day. You understand? But the Ghanaian spirit, was strong and we would not be broken. Okay, even members of the Northern People's Party, you are talking about the Dombo that the NPP people have been adding to their tradition, etc. Wanted to break away the Bawumias. You understand? You know that Vice President Bawumia is himself another bourgeoisie coming from the line of the Bawumias, fantastically well-to-do, elite Northern Ghanaians. Or Ghanaians from the northern part of the country, and even the vice president is living in a $3.5 million house every day. That's where he comes from. He's coming from a $3.5 million house to govern people who live on $1 a day. Right. I'm just finishing, Kwame.
No, I mean,
so
we need to finish.
Yes, sir. So now, in conclusion, what is the solution? What is the way?
You see, Maria Adam is sharing in my frustration. Maria Adam is also saying that, but how come the president has not addressed the nation about this serious matter up until now? Akufo-Addo is a failure to Ghana. Why do we always talk about something that happened 100 years ago? Just like what the EC is saying. Mistakes have happened during registration in 2016, so it's not news. Are we serious as a country? She's asking very, very, very fundamental questions, particularly when you know that any attempt to hoist any flag apart from that of Ghana is a treasonable offense. And yet somehow we have found people doing the similar act. National security has not been proactive enough in respect of addressing that matter. And yet the president has not addressed the nation on this matter. I am particularly worried.
Sure. And
because then it goes to confirm
those suspicions.
The suspicion that perhaps the government is in cahoot with the people who are creating the atmosphere of conflagration in order to disintegrate this nation for the benefit of one political party. And we must somehow deliberately talk about this matter.
Well, Kwame, I appreciate that. Even raising it up is, very good, stuff. But the point is that I do not see how any leader wants to come and, be left with a diminished territory than what he came to meet. And that is where my stuff comes from. You see, Kwame, and me personally, I want to think that the president is gathering his facts about him before he makes a pronouncement on this rather sensitive matter. But you see, I'm not going to hold brief for the president. Because inside me, personally, you see, I think that President Akufo-Addo is just tired and he should just hand over to Ivor Green Street, for instance. But anyway, in London, Kwame, I'm just saying.
No, but are you not worried
that the president has not spoken?
Let's not. You are trying to rubbish what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
No, that's what you're trying to do.
What makes you think so?
No, because you're just saying that perhaps the president is.
No, because I'm not. I cannot represent him.
You are not seeing the gravamen of what is happening. Maybe you are not. I am saying that this singular act of moving from just training to executing is dangerous and it portends.
Sure.
It portends coup d'etat. It portends, disintegration.
Sure.
It portends, just destabilizing the region.
Sure.
We're talking about what is happening in Nigeria. It started out like this.
Sure.
We're talking about what you remember Ivory Coast when Al-Hassan Ouattara used those militia forces, to get Laurent Gbagbo out.
Yes.
Do you remember what happened? That the people were demanding some amount of money, and then when they were not being given that money, they caused mayhem.
Sure.
And I'm saying that we are superintending over the possibility of creating a monster that will end up devouring us as a nation. And you are not. I'm
alarmed. No,
but you're not speaking to that. I'm saying that for the simple reason that the president hasn't spoken to this matter.
Sure.
Gives me a bigger cause to worry.
Okay, Kwame, and what I'm also
and
what I'm also saying is that this is such a sensitive issue. Kwame, you see,
how sensitive is this matter?
I think
when you have
at the highest level.
What are you talking about? But you have chiefs, respectable, responsible chiefs of this country,
sure,
who govern, in the traditional quarters, they unlost it.
Sure.
Come out to openly indicate that something ought to happen.
Sure.
And you are saying that the president is why? The person who lives in that region,
yes.
The chief who superintends over the activities of that particular region is saying that we must act swiftly. In fact, the national security and the police must act swiftly in order to arrest these people and deal with them.
Sure.
And you are saying that there's a sensitive matter to the president.
No, Kwame, you see, please bear with me.
What are you telling me? No, bear with you. I want to
bear with me momentarily. You see, Kwame, you see, the point here is that in as much as Agberon Afia and Toby Afede, etc., have all come out, you see, with the maximum respect to them, but the president has a more of a bird's eye view than they do.
Absolutely.
You see, so the president is operating from a
your description of sensitivity is in relation to the fact that if he is not careful, he may be speaking in a manner that will affect another sector. Another group of people.
Not necessarily.
And that's the
sensitivity of the issue is that
is it not a fact? Is it not a fact?
If you give me the opportunity.
But I'm asking you, I just want to draw your attention to something.
Sure.
Is it not a fact that these people who claim to be part of the Homeland Security people have defied the orders of the state? Is it not a fact?
It is.
Is it not a fact that they shot at a police officer?
And
is it not a fact that they blocked major roads leading to the voter region?
Sure.
Is it not the fact that by putting up a flag other than that of Ghana, it's reasonable?
Sure.
So what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is that the president's utterances have a certain real-time cost to the economy. Now, the president has to be careful the way he comes out because it could impact the economy. And now take note that we've been seriously battered like other nations by the COVID-19 crisis. So it's not like we have a strong economy under the circumstances to begin with. So now I'll tell you what. Kwame, let me learn.
What has the economy got to do with?
No, but it has everything to do with
circumstance. Under the circumstance.
Yes.
Kwame, if you do not have a stable country, you cannot boast of a robust economy.
Sure, but the country is not unstable at the moment.
What do you mean?
It is not.
If even you have one particular town being unstable, it affects the generality of the nation. That is why we invested hugely when we had the Kokomba and then the Nanumba crisis up north.
Sure.
That is why. So
complaining by your own standards,
yes.
Then how come the intelligence of the republic, then the national intelligence, national security, how come they sat down and let what happened in Konkoba and Anumba happen? Excuse me. Because per your analysis, they should have been able to have nipped it in the bud. Indeed, even the Yana issue, how come it happened when it happened? You understand? The point here is, listen, hold on. Said that 9/11. Can you imagine that the great United States with all their drones?
I am saying that the writings are on the wall. These matters that you are talking about are matters that happen spontaneously.
This Homeland Security thing?
Why? Don't you know that they are training?
I don't think it was spontaneous.
You don't know they are training. You don't know they are training. You don't know that they are calling for secessionism.
Sure,
you don't know that.
I'm aware of that.
So what are you talking about?
I'm saying that
to the extent that these people are training.
Yes.
To the extent that they have people who have spearheaded a conversation about succeeding from Ghana.
Sure.
To the extent that several attempts have been made, right, at even a funeral, to start singing their national anthem, should give you the clearest of indications that these people are up to something.
Yeah.
So your antenna, your laser lens should have been on these people to follow the activities so that in the event that they even plan, you would have thought 100 times ahead of them. That's the point I'm making.
But President Akufo-Addo is in a tight spot. You see, he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. You understand? In the sense that even when he sent, troops to parts of the Volta region, as well as several parts of Ghana, the border towns, you understand? Ostensibly, in his words, to prevent people from crossing over, to protect our borders, COVID-19, etc. Look at the political brouhaha that ensued, for lack of a better description. Okay, so every time President Akufo-Addo makes a move in the... No, it's true. Every time President Akufo-Addo makes a move in the Volta region, thereabouts, especially militarily speaking, this close to the election, so that I want to say that leave the president. I find President Akufo-Addo to be a man that is highly deliberative and proceeding by process. You understand? I think the president, this is my independent, honest view, I think the president will come out. The president must come out, and he will come out when he has all his facts about him. And he must be careful, because everything he does right now could be misconstrued.
You see, that if you make this,
suppressing the vote in the Volta region.
If you make this analysis,
yes.
Failure to speak is rather sending some signals to the people of the Volta region.
But the president has not refused to speak.
Failure.
He has not refused to speak.
Failure to speak on this subject. Has he spoken?
But the issue is not over.
We are talking about now. Has he spoken?
But Kwame, your timetable is not the president's timetable.
I am asking you a question. I'm saying that the president hasn't spoken on the matter now.
Because I suspect
how swiftly. No, listen.
Based on the parameters, the guy has more resources at his disposal.
So that's what. And he's briefed every single morning.
And hold
on. The president is briefed by the national.
The NPP people should give me some order for holding brief.
Hold on. It's not about holding brief for the NPP.
Yes.
It's about speaking truth.
And that's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. So pack your conscience behind your thoughts and be expressive about same. The point that we're making is that the president, who is the commander-in-chief
and the father of the nation,
of the Ghana Armed Forces, who is briefed by the national security and all the other security agencies in this country, right? By now, has been briefed about the happening in the Volta region. That is one. Two, that the fact that he's not seized with all the facts does not prevent him from admitting that something like this is going on in that region.
Hold on.
Why is the Minister of Information my president?
No, he's working for the president.
Why is the Minister of Information
he's an officer from the president?
Is he the defense minister?
Well, I mean,
no. You see, let's not. No, I'm not. When the president, why? The COVID-19 updates. Why didn't the president leave it for the Minister of Information?
But you see, the minister is also involved. The minister is also involved.
But I'm saying that putting out that information,
but the president doesn't do it every day.
But
he does it at specific,
because
timelines,
he saw that to be of great relevance. And I'm saying that he himself, when he found it necessary, came out and gave us the state.
When he found it necessary, I appreciate that.
No.
When he found it necessary,
so does it mean that what is happening in the Volta region is not necessary?
I think that he hasn't found it necessary.
So it's not necessary to your own words. You're saying.
No.
That is really more dangerous.
No, by the way, you see, I cannot speak for the president. But Kwame, I just want to say that.
My words against me. Hold on.
I think our presidents are patriots. I don't think President Akufo-Addo wants to see the disintegration of this republic under his leadership, especially considering the way he's always
the Achim Sakawa
about the Ghana.
Hold on. The Achim Sakawa tweet by Honorable Azekadongo that was retweeted by former President Mahama warranted a meeting with the Christian Council and the Peace Council to lament that we must ensure that some level of sanity is brought into the political conversation. This is a matter of national security. And you are saying that the president has not found it necessary to address the nation in respect of this matter. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that the president is probably not yet ready. He's still gathering his facts. Kwame, I'll say this. Kwame, I'll say this. You see, the president of the republic, when you say that the president has not found it necessary, to address the country, one who is not totally well informed might think that maybe the military has not advised him, the police has not advised him, the national intelligence. I think all of these operations, all of these agencies, manned by highly qualified Ghanaians, would never just sit down and let the country go.
Thank you very much.
I'm just landing.
No, you've made your point as well.
I'm landing in a sentence. All I'm saying in a sentence is that we should understand that our presidents are all patriots, and that what good does it benefit a president to disintegrate the president he's superintending, to disintegrate the country that he's superintending. And that, I don't think President Akufo-Addo has ill will against any group of Ghanaians. You understand? Now, let us, as the Asante told us, let us each focus on our records. For instance, at the CPP, we are focusing on our records, the factories that we built across the country. You understand? The Akosombo Dam, the infrastructure projects that we started. And even under President Liman, despite the fact that, even despite the fact that President J.J. Rawlings and President J. Kufuor somehow teamed up, after President Liman, when they robbed him of his presidency, you see, we are still not bothered because our record is self-evident.
Thank you.
So all I'm saying is that a vote for the CPP is a vote for yourself.
Thank you very much.
If you vote for Ivor Street,
thank you.
That's what Ghanaians want.
Thank you very much. Maria Adams says, did I just hear him say the president is not just ready? Juliana Belinda Lamte Ubri says, now where is the Peace Council, the Christian Council, the Bishop Council, Bishop Conference, you mean Archbishop Conference? Are they still in this country? This one also is from Saibo Natogma. Good morning, champion. It's very hypocritical on the part of our president, who quickly reported Mahama to when he shared the post of the Achim Sakawa boys, but he's kept mute on what is happening. Travis Spa says, Kwame, stop wasting your time on this man. He doesn't understand the issues. Maria says, what is this man saying? Some group taking over your police station, taking their guns. Do you know what it means as a country? My God, Ghana is bleeding indeed. This one also says, from Sufisien Zuki from Sanatorawa, it says, good morning. I would continue to maintain my stance that Ghana should not take this government led by Akufo-Addo serious. They are using Western Togoland to divert attention of the public from the wonderful manifesto of JDM. This one is from Danchito Dunchito. Danchito says, he's not a real follower of Dr. Nkrumah from his submission, hailing the JB Dankwa and Akufo-Addo. Wow. This one also says, Umar, Ms. Bao says, good morning, champion. I get worried when the media captions some undefined group who commit a crime as Islamic militants. The groups are not mouthpiece of Islam. Islam emphatically forbids. Well, we are not describing them as such. They are the ones who describe themselves as such. And so, yeah. Juliana Bellemelam said the president is still campaigning with his vice for votes. Ghanaians are not fools anymore. We are wide awake. Vote him out. We are worried. The state of security in this country is nothing to write home about. Look, the let me halt the reading of the messages for now. Okay. Abdul Rahman said, am I the only one who sees that Soprano is hiding under the banner of CPP to perpetrate the activities of the MPP?
I'm an opposition member. I say so much against the president. But please, our presidents are patriots.
Please, you should check the two flags. The first flag by the secessionists was different from what we saw on Saturday from Mayor 1, Uti region. This one says, I am the breeze from Vota region. Please, the president of Ghana should sit down with the leaders of the Western Togoland to address the issues.
Never.
I don't think that we should countenance that. Well, people are saying that they are watching us in Western region. Somebody is watching us from Elembele in Western region. Kwame Nachia. This one says, I'm watching you from Prisia in Western region. Sure. So we have, by the grace of God, we have our TV station intact. People are watching us from across the country. There is something, good morning to you all. Please, is it true that where is the message? Oh, okay. All right. I'll come back to reading the messages. But another issue that came up over the weekend that requires our immediate attention. Rico Dikwa, she said, this CPP boy, pa. I'm sorry if this is the way and other things. Good morning, Panamka TV. Kwame, patience with the man. If not, he will be confused. It's a hack. This man, he doesn't get confused, though. All right. Something smells funny in this.
Yeah, like some electrical.
No, not electrical. I think some.
I think like some electricity, some cable burn, something like that. Okay.
Finally, let's touch on this Mahama Akufo-Addo issue.
Or is it the Tuesday that I'm
Perhaps.
smelling?
EC chair. Wait, no. So Ghana's okay. Don't trust Mahama. He's inconsistent. And Nana Akufo-Addo is saying that. And then Nana Akufo-Addo also says that. This my viewer said they are able to monitor everything. They said, okay, the look of utter disbelief on your face when the simple man was speaking is priceless. But the rally, I mean, what is saying that Mahama is inconsistent and that we shouldn't trust him, and that he doesn't just cut swords. He cuts swords because there's money backing the cutting of the swords. Please, what do you have to say to that?
You know, I heard about it, and I was so surprised that the President of the Republic of Ghana, once again, were engaging in this politics of deception, went a bit further to actually create the impression or even let Ghanaians know that he is a president who always engage in this dishonesty. If you like, just go out there and sample the views of a lot of people out there. Pick 10 people at random and ask them between His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who do they trust most? Yes, and yet, I am surprised that the president will even make a statement to the effect that President Mahama should not be trusted. And this is a president who has gone all over the country, have gone to commission projects that were initiated, executed, and completed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And yet, the president have the audacity to look into the eyes of the good people of this country and peddle falsehood and want to play the politics of trust. I mean, this is scandalous. I mean, this is a president, when you take a litany of promises that he made to the good people of this country. One of the instances was the fact that he intends to reduce his ministers, and for that matter, the president or the ministers or the appointees during the era of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama were having a toll on the budgets of this country.